Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shadeinthecity.
Shadeinthecity.
I'm Shreese,
It's Nell.
and I know y'all thought y'all forgot, but y'all didn't. We ain't been gone that long. So thank you guys for sticking with us for our little mini vacation. Appreciate it. Please make sure when you come in, you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And we are jumping into our review of Married at First Sight Reunion Part 2. And of course, I didn't think it was going to be giving, but they gave. But let's get into it, y'all. Let's get shady.
So we jump back into the reunion, and they have all the ladies on stage, chopping it up, acting like they're like sister wives or just the best of friends. So now Kevin asked the ladies what their first impressions of each other was. And Katina's like, oh, she felt Lindsay was very high energy. I was like, that's a nice way to put it. She knew immediately her and Jasmina were going to connect because y'all were the only two Black people. And that Noi was very sweet and Alyssa was friendly. You didn't get the vibe that she was a good person. I'm not going to start yet. I'll wait. It's plenty of time for that. Trust me, Shade Squad. Anyway, so they then have a group chat that they are still in. They're like the best. Again, they're like sister wives. They're the best of friends. They all stay in touch and talk almost every day, except apparently Lindsay is out of the loop, guys. Apparently her and Jasmina had an altercation. Not an altercation. I'm not going to make it sound physical. Now, apparently, Lindsay was driving Jasmina, and this is why you need to get your own damn license, Jasmina. Anyway, Lindsay was driving Jasmina. I guess they were going somewhere. Noi was in the car. She proceeded to keep talking about Alyssa.
For some reason, okay, never mind.
Okay, so she proceeded to keep talking about Alyssa, which angered Jasmina, and made her feel like she needed to speak up because Alyssa was not there to defend herself. And Lindsay basically said, well, if you don't like it, get out my car. And put her out the car. Did I get that right? Was there any inaccuracy in that? Because I think that's
only on Lindsay's part. Lindsay felt like she was yelling and getting very loud. And what she said was, it's too early in the morning to be dealing with this shit. If you want to yell, get out my car. And Noi was like, I don't remember that quite happening. Jasmine was like, thanks. Like, I'm glad you're here to vouch for me. What I thought was kind of hilarious was, so yeah, she's having that issue with Jasmina, but they also talked about an issue with Alyssa. Apparently all the girls are in a group chat, but Alyssa got her blocked on IG. And
just social media, period. I'm sure she blocked on Twitter.
Yeah, probably Facebook. Everything.
No shade, Lindsay, but it's giving obsessive. It's okay to not like someone, but trust and believe when I'm not talking about this show, I am not talking about Alyssa.
So Lindsay says that she believes it was because, they had the bachelorette party and she made like a comment about everyone talking about their biggest flaws. And when Alyssa basically said that she didn't have any, she was like, oh, self-awareness. Okay. So she felt like Alyssa took it as a dig. And Alyssa was like, yeah, that's not quite what happened. You were actually talking shit about me, like at the party to numerous people.
And I hate to say it, but I remember watching that. And she was very, I'm not going to say that I didn't agree. She was prissy and she, from the beginning, I didn't care for Alyssa. But yeah, she definitely spoke on it before she even had a chance to figure out if that wasn't true.
Mm-hmm. And Alyssa's just like, basically, I didn't see any need for you to follow me on any of my platforms. I mean, you don't like me, bitch, so fuck you. And Lindsay said that she tried to call and apologize, but Alyssa wasn't here for it. And there was a discrepancy with that. Alyssa's like, yeah, you didn't try to call and apologize. You called and you were very rude. And what?
No, I was just going to say, Lindsay gives me the vibe. She's the type of person that if I give you an apology, you better accept it. Like, she wants to be good immediately, like nothing happened.
Lindsay gives me the vibe that she does shit, and because she can speak appropriately, she expects you to believe her when she does some fuck shit.
That's a very good observation.
Now, they get on to the surprise of, people being together, people breaking up. Katina says it was no surprise to her that Mark and Lindsay are not together because, she could see them both like butting heads, and same thing with Jasmina. And she feels like, they tried, but it just didn't work. Noy says she was surprised about Michael and Jasmina because they struggled a little bit, but she thought, that they would find their flow. I think we all were. So Noy said she was also surprised that, by Mark and Lindsay because they had just moved in together. So
she was surprised at how fast things went downhill.
Then they move on to Olajuwon and Katina. And of course, they show the epic scene about her life skills and lack thereof. Jasmina said, she would always hear about it, and she cursed Olajuwon out
a couple times.
I said, oh.
That's why I said they knew who to set up, because Jasmina would have never worked.
I can't see Jasmina cursing for some reason. I don't know. It's just
absolutely I can.
She just knows how to like speak without, I don't know. I just can't see her. I cursed his ass out many times. She basically said that she told him like, you don't cook either. She don't believe in gender roles. And, it would be nice if she came home to a meal every now and then. I say yes. Jasmina, let him know. And Lindsay says Olajuwon wears his heart on his sleeve. And he's also the type to admit when he's wrong and says sorry. I didn't really feel like that really addressed the question, but it was true what she said. Jasmina, adds on, yes, that, he does. He, fucks up and he apologizes for it, when he realizes what he's done. And it is a real sincere apology. And they ask Katina like what she does now. She's like, I'll just talk shit back. About time, Katina. So then they move on to Noy and Steve, and everyone says that they were basically shocked to find out that they had problems because they thought Noy and Steve was like perfect. And then they ask how they felt about Steve not having full-time employment. And Katina says when she heard, that he was traveling all over the world, she knew he had to have some type of money. I said, don't know where it's coming from, but clearly he got something. And Lindsay says, no, she didn't really give a damn. She felt like he needed a job because she grew up in a refugee camp and she wants a 6-figure man.
But then Jasmina cuts her off and says, but everyone, or I guess she says like everyone wanted to, Lindsay insinuates that everyone wanted him to have a job. And Jasmina says that, no, everyone wanted him to have a job, but we didn't judge him right away because he didn't have a job. I said.
They also talk about the fact that they think that Noy and Steve are going to be the first to have kids. I think I agree. Yeah.
How did she know he got some money to take care of them too? Oh, yeah.
Stupid. They talk about Lindsay's crazy ass laugh. It was close, but hers is much worse. And they want to know if it ever got her in trouble. She was like, yeah, it has, I'm known for putting my foot in my mouth. But she says that she loves feedback and she's receptive to everybody. And she just
Katina and Alyssa and everybody
gets a blank stare
are looking crazy. They're like, who is she talking about?
Basically. So they asked Alyssa, if she felt uncomfortable while on the show with Lindsay. And she says, yes, she felt uncomfortable the entire time. So Lindsay's basically like, well, let's get into the nitty gritty. You blocked me because you were sending my husband DMs. And Alyssa's like, yeah, that's not true. I got messages to prove it. And I was like, hold up. But if you weren't sending him DMs, then how you got messages to prove you weren't sending him DMs? But apparently she was sending him DMs, but they weren't like, disrespectful.
Yeah. They were DMs. Friendly.
Apparently she sends that shit to everybody. She contacts everybody. She's friends with everybody. She's not,
because she's such a good person.
Lindsay says, she was told basically not to be at the apartment. And hold up. Lindsay said
that sounds about right. She was told to not be at the apartment, and Lindsay basically told her ass that she wasn't here for the marriage, so she needed to go to fuck home. Like, what was she there for? I completely agree. That's the one thing I'm gonna give Lindsay. I'm not mad at that. I mean, it may not have been her place to say, but production should have definitely said it to her.
And she basically said that, she told her husband that Alyssa did not wish the marriage well. She's not your friend and stay away from her. Alyssa said that Mark reached out to her initially because he just wanted to check on her. And she really values that. Also, she said there was never anything bad about Lindsay or their relationship said. Katina chimes in and she agrees that, she saw the text messages. She reaches out to Olajuwon. She reaches out to everyone. This is just a thing that Alyssa does. And she says that they're just passive messages. And Lindsay says, yeah, sort of.
And it says something about confronting her at the airport. I was so lost. It was so confusing. Confront her, and then
she said there was a time where she got off the bus at the airport and told Alyssa she wanted to talk to her, and says that everyone she interacted with basically said that Alyssa was rude. So she was trying to tell Alyssa that everyone felt that she was rude. And of course, Alyssa said that she's the nicest person. And Lindsay said, yeah, no, she's not. I would have loved to see that on camera because as much as this bitch said she's such a great person, right. I would have loved to see someone say, bitch, no, you're not. And Alyssa says just because they're not friends does not mean that she has to come at her like that. She's been very respectful to her, and she doesn't talk bad about her to like any of the girls.
And I will say that that's the one thing I'm gonna give Alyssa. You're giving her, why are you obsessed with me? Girl, I wanna know.
What?
I'm just saying.
And Katina and Jasmina basically vouch for her that they don't like
Alyssa's not worried about you.
Alyssa does not, and we know that Lindsay does because
she's too worried about being a good person.
They bring up Alyssa's psychic, and who her soulmate was supposed to be, and whether it was an eagle versus a lion tattoo. Now, Lindsay says she heard from all the boys that she changed it from a lion to an eagle because she heard that Steve has a lion tattoo and that upset Noy. Now,
can I tell y'all, I had a hard time even following that because it just seemed so childish and like just the biggest thing of bullshit to even be talking about. Or so I'm gonna be honest. That's why I really didn't give a damn. I mean, I have it in my notes, but as I was sitting there, I was like, this is very childish. But go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to run it back a few times.
Right, because I was like, what the heck are y'all talking about?
If you watch it like one time trying to,
figure out who is it, an eagle? Is it a lion? What it?
I had to stop, rewind, pause.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
So, Jasmina says she wants to comment because she says she has a problem when things are untrue being said. And she says that Lindsay messaged her and Katina on IG and tells them to check their DMs. It's a lion tattoo, and Steve has a lion tattoo. And she feels like because she already didn't like Alyssa, she was just kind of like trying to stir the pot. So basically, the issue is they feel that Lindsay doesn't like Alyssa. So maybe she made up this story, or maybe she got this piece of information, whatever the case may be. It was supposed to have been a lion tattoo.
It's a stupid story.
Versus the eagle tattoo, because Steve had a lion tattoo, and this was supposed to be her soulmate, according to the psychic.
And this is why
it made Noi upset, and she actually said it in front of Noi, apparently, while Alyssa was there, which made it super duper awkward. And Noi says that she did get upset because she said, she had just kind of met Steve and she didn't want somebody thinking her husband is their soulmate. But she wasn't upset with Alyssa. And she also believes that Lindsay, this is information that Lindsay may have received. She doesn't believe that Lindsay just made up this story that it's a lion versus, instead of an eagle. So she's not upset with either of the ladies, but she just was upset that,
keep my man's tattoo out your fucking mouth.
Basically.
So Kevin asked Katina, what type of man would Lindsay need? And she says that Lindsay needs somebody that's adventurous, has a lot of money. And Jasmina adds, someone to make her orgasm a couple times. And I said, well, there you have it. That was all the things that she was complaining about. But girl, if you knew how hard it was to find it. So Noi said she needs someone who will love and accept her for everything she is. And that is very true.
And someone really strong.
Really strong. They get over to Jasmina, and Noi says she needs someone who's intellectual and smart. And Alyssa says she needs someone who's kind and caring and someone who's going to take care of her. And then they ask what type of, y'all know I'm about to spend literally 5 seconds on this. We all know Alyssa need a cowboy. We ain't even going to sit here. We're not going to talk about it for long. We already know what she wants. Let's hope that she meets some hillbilly that like her.
What I thought was funny was, so Lindsay, with Jasmina, Lindsay, she was like family focused. And it's very important because, she thinks she's going to be a great mom and, she needs a kind-hearted man. And then she's like, but, I really feel like we're, basically describing Mike. And she's like, what you guys didn't say I needed was communication. I said, oh,
that she did say. She did bring that out.
Now for the guys. All the guys sit down with Kevin, and they start with Mark. And Mark starts by saying, he feels like he is a different guy or different person around the guys because it's a lot of positivity. He doesn't really get that around Lindsay. And Lajuan says that, he was partnering with someone who doesn't, who he doesn't think was a bad person, but she doesn't take accountability for her own actions. And it's easy for her to point the finger. So,
not Olajuwon out here with the shots fired, but okay, Olajuwon. I guess all this growth.
That's his home girl. That's his homie.
That's what I'm saying. I guess all this growth got you out here playing therapist, but okay.
He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. Mark says it bothers him that he has no problem bringing up his mom and his grandmother because it's irrelevant to their relationship. And really, she was just trying to take digs at him because she's a hurt bitch. She's a broken bitch. Not his words, mine, but it was close. He also says that the last time they got into a big blowout, she spit on his shirt. And he actually
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Breaks down crying and says that, you know, he's dealt with bullying before, but not like this, not to his face. And like, this was the highest extent of bullying he's ever dealt with. And I was just like, I'm not gonna lie. During the reunion, you really felt bad for Mark. I mean, you really felt bad for him. And he actually said that, you know, he
and you know
frightened.
What I don't like?
He got frightened of her.
Huh?
He actually said he got frightened of her and he needed, you know, his friend's support. Oh, it's crazy. You know what I think made it worse? Watching this Johnny Depp case and then also seeing Mark going through this and he's talking about he's being bullied, being spit on, he's frightened.
Not her bringing up the white people news.
Because, I mean, really, it's like the same thing. She was whooping his ass.
I mean, she didn't shit in his bed, so.
Huh?
She didn't shit in his bed, so.
Well, I mean, he wasn't with her for God knows how many years. So who knows? I mean, if she spit on him, I mean, where it could have ended up.
Right.
I mean, it was hard to, you know, watch this case, also seeing him go through this within the short amount of time that they were together. So yeah, you really felt bad for him. He's a grown-ass man.
No, Lindsay definitely gives snaps. Like if Lindsay and Mark would have stayed together, they would have ended up on Snapped.
It was hard to watch him be super emotional and her be so kind of cold and shut off and like, no, I don't feel like I did that, or no, that's not what happened. Or so they show, you know, flashbacks of Mark and his scenes. And it was so sad because he broke down when he saw his cat. And, you know, we all know he had to put his cat down. And we did see Lindsay there, you know, to support him during that time. But, you know, he said he did have a lot of tough times, but life is good now. And the guys that, you know, since Lindsay was there to support him a lot through these things that Mark went through, do you feel that he should have tried harder? And Mark says she does a lot of great things, but all the other negative things and condescending things and low blows don't cancel out.
The negatives aren't lower than the positives.
They don't cancel out each other, you know. And Steve and Elijah agree that Mark is better without Lindsay, because no one should have to go through that type of stuff. I felt like Steve felt really, really bad for him. The guys are asked if they were surprised when they heard the things about Alyssa that Alyssa said to Chris. And Mike says that he knew that they were having their problems, but he didn't know it was,
that bad.
Especially when she didn't know the cameras were rolling or she was being recorded and the nasty, disgusting shit that she said.
Then they get into her "I'm a good person" footage. I wish we didn't have copyright so I could roll it back for you. So y'all could
literally make that into some shit.
Right. They need to. I'm sure that's a gift. I need to find that gift. I'm sure it's a gift.
Yeah. I mean, she could easily just snatch that shit.
Right.
But, she could easily make money off of that. Easy.
So they asked Chris, do you think Alyssa was a good person? Chris, this is why we love Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chris is still, even with being disgusted,
just classy. That's it.
Classy. That's what I'm saying. He still protects her.
It has nothing to do with defending her or anything like that. He's just a classy guy. That's it.
And he says, well, what would you do when you're matched with someone that you don't want to be with? And basically, he just says it all depends on how you handle it and leaves it from there.
What I wish was someone would have explained to her what makes a good person is the decisions that they make and the way they react to certain shit. I wish somebody would have said it.
Where was Dr. Pepper Pastor Cow when we needed them?
Because as many times as she said, I'm a good person, because she said it even on stage with them, I want to know what her definition of a good person is. Because literally, a good person, it's
someone who doesn't want to defund the police is a good person. You know, that's why she said they're not compatible. They don't have the same beliefs, because he posted something on Instagram about defunding the police. She tried to use that against him.
And that's why she didn't want to say it. Man, I don't even think it's about defunding the police. I think it's just right is right and wrong is wrong.
Right.
Then they bring up that Steve had a bomb dropped on him when he found out that Noi had no plans on moving in with him at the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Steve's face when they showed it, he kind of felt like it wasn't a bomb, but I mean, you know. Steve says he definitely didn't see it coming, and he thought, you know, you go through the process, you get married, and after decision day, if you say yes, you move in together. That's just the way shit goes.
Right.
And he said, you know, he felt like something was really going on, and he was just trying to understand it. But he really just felt like, you know, if she can give him a certain level of certainty, then she can live wherever the fuck she wants. I said, let's not get it twisted. I feel like they should live together, but I'm here for Steve and his emotional
maturity.
Like, what?
It's beautiful.
He's got money saved. He cooks. He cleans. He's emotionally mature. Let me tell you something. I love Mike. Okay. Mainly because he's just super romantic and thoughtful. Okay. But Steve could have put a ring on his finger. I'm trying to tell you. He could have put a ring on his finger.
Oh, he did. But you wouldn't have liked it because it was lab glass.
Oh, no. That I'd have been like,
lab diamond.
I'd have been like, you better dig in that account and give me a real goddamn diamond. Then they move on to Olajuwon and what his ideal wife was. And Steve says he thinks, you know, Olajuwon has learned a lot through this process. Everybody agrees. He has probably learned the most.
He's come a long way.
Remember, he was a Neanderthal. And he thinks that he learned to bring his expectations down some. Mike says that he talks to O all the time, and he actually even calls him when Katina, you know, cooks. Like, yo, let me tell you what she made me. And she making shit he ain't never even had before. She's making
apparently she made him lobster tails. This is from the girl that food won't edible, but now she introducing him to lobster tails and he love it. I said, Olajuwon, I'm so happy that you're tuned.
That's why he put that big ass rock on her finger. He like, see, this is all I wanted. I wanted.
Isn't that crazy?
They asked if there was anything that they felt Michael could have done different, you know, to save his relationship. And Kevin says, you know, he feels that could have romanced Jasmine and more. What you singing?
I said he needs to try a little tenderness.
And he knew Mike cared a lot about the things, you know, at the moment. But, you know, he wished that he would have just relaxed and stopped overthinking. And he says that hopefully he'll take that piece of advice into his next situation, because he has great qualities that women around the world would love, and that is true.
Okay, we'll catch you on 90 Day Fiance. Okay.
Then we sit down with the experts, Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, and Dr. Viviana.
And I was here for it. Do
they normally do it like that?
Maybe. I don't know. This is our first season reviewing it, so we don't know.
Okay. I thought maybe you watched it before this.
But
like last season they didn't.
I don't think so either. Or maybe we just...
But I thought it was dope. But you know what? They probably was like, you know what? Bring us back, because we want to have a fucking talk with Alyssa, talking about we fucked up and we didn't match.
Yes.
Now so that's why they was talking like, you know
that's the part I want to get into. But what I will say, Shade Squad, just dropping some tea on y'all, if y'all have not already heard, that Mr. Devin Franklin, Mr. AKA ex Mr. Megan Good, is going to be one of our new hosts of what it'll be season 15 of Married at First Sight in San Diego. And Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that's wonderful. But drop down in the comments. Let us know what you think. It's been
I
causing
would love
stir.
to see him.
People feel some type of way because he just came out of a divorce. He's not even, they got divorced in what? It was literally just finalized last month. So he said, I read his statement. He said that he had put a lot of thought into it and prayer. And he just feels like, you know, this, he could be helpful to someone else. And as we know, a lot of these couples end in divorce. So my thoughts are, I think it's interesting. I do believe we're getting rid of Pastor Cal, which is why he's taking over.
Oh, I thought it was Dr. Viviana that wasn't coming back.
Dr. Viviana is not coming back, and they're replacing, they're bringing on another woman, but I don't know who she is. I heard Pastor Cal was getting X'd. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the tea of the streets.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Right. I just had to drop that, let y'all know. Okay.
I'm okay with Devin because I like him. I have a lot of respect for him, and regardless to whether his relationship didn't make it a lifetime,
right.
I felt like
he tried, and that's what marriage is, right?
He did, and I felt like he was a great partner. There was a lot of scrutiny on their relationship, and it did not bother him not one fucking bit.
And he took every opportunity to uplift
his wife. He defended his wife to the end, and even though there's a lot of scrutiny on him right now, he's going to defend his fucking self. So I'm
here for it, and we're excited because obviously we'll be here for the next season of Married at First Sight. So we sit down with the experts, and I mean, they get right into it. Dr. Pepper says she didn't expect Lindsay and Mark to be that combustible. Pastor Cal says the shocker for him was Alyssa and Chris. He says anytime they put people together, they expect them to try. No. And Dr. Pepper says that he felt like Chris was just a wonderful guy and a great gift to someone. We agree. Alyssa was just a bitch. We agree. Dr. Viviana says that this season exceeded her expectations.
Dr. Pepper says that they truly believe that they can create lifetime marriages, but they also know that they don't truly know everything. They can't know everything. And Pastor Kyle says he didn't expect any of the 4 couples to split up. And he understood and knew that there were challenges, but, he was hopeful. And Dr. Viviana says she thought Mark and Lindsay were definitely going to make it. She just thought that they needed to find a mellow place after the cameras were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they talked about Elijah and how all the experts
he was speaking to Katina
got in his ass. And they
I remember when he was ready to cuss Dr. Pepper out.
All the experts, I feel like all the experts got in his ass except for Dr. Viviana.
Mm-hmm.
So, they spoke about that. They showed clips of that. They gave Katina basically props for being patient. Because, he's a totally different guy now. But who would have thunk it?
Who would have thought?
Now, Dr. Viviana says she was, Steve shocked her because he came out the gate with so much insight and thoughtfulness and feels like he could be a therapist on the side. Talking about, Steve is effing amazing. She says he has such a calm demeanor and so thoughtful, and he uses it for good in his marriage. And she feels like that's what made all the difference. They bring up living separately. Apparently, this was a bomb dropped by Dr. Pepper. Nobody knew that her and her husband was living separately. She's like, I didn't know it was a bomb. I didn't know I was dropping a bomb.
You know what's so funny, though? She knew she was, that's why she kept it to herself. That was her business. It wasn't nobody else's business if it works for them. And now I ain't mad at you, Dr. Pepper. It's great that she shared it when it made sense to.
Exactly. But she does also explain that, her and her husband are older. They're not trying to raise a family. They've been together for 16 years. It works for them. But really, it was just the fact that they both had great houses. They both love their houses, and they didn't see any need to break that up. And, after 16 years, she still gets excited to see him, which I thought was super cute. She says that Noi, on the other hand, this is a new relationship, and she does, she doesn't think it's ideal for them to live separately. They do need to get to know each other more, especially the fact that, they haven't been married very long. But she can appreciate that, she needs to move at her own pace.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go get married and then go get an apartment and see how that work out.
But she feels like, if that's the way to get, for her to get trust and security, then so be it. And Dr. Viviana says she feels like it's adding a lot of unnecessary layers. Pascal says he believes that Noi absolutely adores Steve, but she does have to get over some of her fears and some of her apprehensions. And she, he thinks that they'll be good. Then they bring up Jasmina and Michael.
And they bring them out on stage.
Yes, they bring them out to try to help them mend this relationship.
And let me tell you this, I wasn't here for this. This is the part that I wasn't here for, trying to talk them into staying together. Because that's what was happening. We seen it on decision day when they tried to convince them that they could move forward. And now here we are, and they trying to convince them to get back together after they talking about why it didn't work. But I'll let you get into it.
Some reason why it didn't work. It was stupid. It was stupid.
But they're stupid. I feel like them two are stupid together. She wants to pick a fight. He doesn't give a them. Unfortunately, it would probably be a wonderful man, and she is probably a wonderful woman. They're just not for each other because they're both, again, they give me childish. But go ahead.
So Dr. Viviana lets them know that she expected for them to be great once the cameras were gone. So she wants to know what happened. She's
really sad that they're not together.
I mean, I am too. I'm not gonna lie.
After he sat 2 hours and tried to convince them to stay together.
What'd you say?
She said it on a live. What we saw in the reunion or the decision day when they sat for like 20 minutes, she was literally talking to them for 2 hours. And that's each couple, but she was talking to them for like 2 hours.
So Jasmina basically breaks down what happened, and she says, she hadn't been at work for like 2 days, so she asked Michael to borrow his laptop for training, for a training day that was coming up. And, he agreed. And when the training day came up, she hit him up like, hey, can I use your laptop? And he's like, oh, like, you didn't ask me for that. And she's like, yeah, I did. And apparently it turned into some big thing. I was like, what the fuck? Like, fuck what I asked for.
She says that frustrated her, which ultimately led to him asking for a divorce.
Yeah, so Dr. Viviana is like, no, I'm not taking. I don't believe that bullshit.
Y'all mean to tell me y'all
okay? That really just sounds like a miscommunication. That is not grounds for a divorce. So what the fuck really happened? Jasmina says Michael says that he doesn't feel that she put forth an effort, but she feels like she hit him up every day to have a conversation, and she would get like no text back, no call. But he always throws up in her face that he came to her house that one time. Mike says with the laptop
thing, it was only 12 damn days, but go ahead.
Says with the laptop thing, he really doesn't remember. Like, he doesn't remember, and that's not the reason that it ended. He says that he called her and told her that he's not getting anything from her. Jasmina intervened and says she has a receipt. She reached out every single day, and she says she never got any calls or any texts or anything from him. So how does he feel that he put in 100% effort when she's the one that did it all? And it was come and sit on her couch, she says. Jesus Christ. This is just the most pettiest bullshit. like ever. Basically, long story short, okay, Jasmina basically says that when you are not physically attracted or, you know, like that with somebody,
Right.
it's hard to get back to that place, like a good place. So when you guys argue, it's easy to just gun them. And she wasn't there. She's never been there. So when he said that he was ready to get a divorce, she was with it. And they did try to talk her into getting back together with him, and that was a no-go. She said, no. Jasmina shut that down and says, right now, I don't want to move forward to see if it's even possible. I said, well, the next day bring out Alyssa and Chris to sit down with the experts, and I already know Tris is going to
All right, Alyssa and Chris, here we go. Buckle up, get ready for this.
Look, let me pull out my rice cakes. Get comfortable for this.
If you haven't already, please hit that like button.
But you know what? I will say, whether we were here or not, whether we were on vacation or not, we noticed, and we love you for it. Thank you.
Yes, we noticed. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. So now we sit down with Alyssa and Chris, and the experts look like they can't wait to get in that ass, right? So Dr. Pepper says she has some questions. She says the fact that Alyssa believes that they paired her up with somebody that was just completely uncompatible, she finds hard to believe when they were paired based off things that they filled out in this questionnaire and the interviews that they did. So she said, obviously they did their research, and so basically her and Chris were paired based off the research that they did. And Alyssa says that she respectfully disagrees and that they are not a match. Alyssa believes that her questionnaire and interview did not align with Chris, and that is no offense to him. For once, she showed a little bit of coof. But y'all know she couldn't.
It didn't last long.
Right. She had to show how good of a person she was.
Dr. Viviana had the receipts. Dr. Viviana got the questionnaire on her phone.
She says, but she believes they have no core values or core beliefs that they share. As I already told y'all about these core values and core beliefs. Anyway, so Dr. Viviana says he's exactly what your question. Like, Dr. Viviana's irritated. And this is why I say, maybe this is why she ain't coming back. I think she's done. She's like, I'm tired of playing with y'all fools. What y'all not going to do is play with my success rate and I'm not out here being a relationship expert without successful relationships. So what you're not going to do is make me sound crazy. So she said, no, he's exactly what your questionnaire and your list was. And then pulls out her phone with receipts of her questionnaire. She was like this. She said, well, Alyssa, you said you wanted somebody that was compassionate, funny, giving, hardworking, and loyal. Which one of those things is Chris not? Which one of those things did he not give you? And she's like, well, she didn't feel loyalty. And when I tell you, all the experts looked at her and was like, really? That's the one that you chose?
And of course, you know, she started the waterworks and says,
I was told today,
and I was told I wouldn't get attacked.
I feel attacked.
Lady, Dr. Viviana's just like, it's just a question.
Right. She's like, I just asked you a question.
And Alyssa's just like, I don't know how to articulate
and then
myself.
Pastor Cal tries to ask her and says, well, what core values were you say that? And she's, because he's like, I'm the one that pairs people off values. So now he's offended.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, what core values? And she's like, I just don't want to get into it. It's too much. I'm such a good person. I believe it was Dr. Pepper that told her, if I had known that you were this type of person that had a vision, that he had to be this, this, and this, I would have never matched you. Because basically what they're trying to tell her is all of the qualities that you want are there. It's the fact that it's not wrapped in the packaging that you like. Let's just be real.
I liked Chris, what Chris said. Chris said he doesn't believe in having a person. Everybody's gonna check some boxes, and everybody's not gonna check some boxes. Basically, you have to decide what boxes are more important. And yeah, Dr. Pepper
the superficial boxes, the cowboy boots and an Eagles tattoo, or motherfucker that's gonna care for you when you on your deathbed and change your diapers.
Alyssa says that she knows it's a running joke, but she's gonna keep on saying it because she's a good person. But she feels like she was shown in a light that's not who she really is, and she's sad about it. And Dr. Pepper said, but we didn't put any of those words in your mouth. So, I'm explaining it wrong. Bitch, just shut up, okay? Just shut up. Chris says the day of the wedding, he felt like a big dumb idiot. I don't know why I love the way he said that. He said that he
wanted
had
to believe this girl wasn't
all the potential energy, and he didn't get to put it anywhere. But he doesn't feel any heartbreak because it was never a relationship. He doesn't regret going through the process, but he'll probably never do it again. But he learned a lot about himself through the process, and he can use it for a future relationship. Dr. Pepper gives Alyssa some advice and tells her, if you could make
lower your list, and
if you can make that
to
list
make it perfect.
Exactly. That's not so long and not so perfect. You could find a human being.
And Alyssa said, I believe I will find my person.
Well, I bet you do.
Halfway.
They sit down now with Lindsay and Mark, and Dr. Viviana gets right into it. She wants to know at what point they realized their relationship wasn't going to work.
It was all downhill. No, I said when she realized it was all downhill. But go ahead.
She says that it was 7 days after, which was her birthday. She says all she wanted was dinner and a massage, and he gave her an IOU. Then 6 weeks went by, and she brought it up and said, hey, when can I cash in on that birthday gift? And he says, oh, it's too late now. It doesn't even matter anymore. And she felt like, if you make a promise, you need to deliver on it. Now, I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not, look, how I felt about my birthday. I was like, I'm not the one to ask about this.
All you asked for was dinner and a massage, and I got an IOU.
We would have a problem.
We have a problem. And now 6 weeks went by, and you talking about it don't even matter no more. So the day that I was brought into this earth so that I could be your wife don't matter. You got me.
I like how you did that.
You got me fucked up. And apparently he said things to her about not staying there, and that and her not having the rights to any place. And of course she felt some type of way because she's like, I just unpacked my last bag and someone moved into her place. And apparently he said it the day after her grandmother died. Mark says after decision day, they spent a week fixing up the place. He says the issue was there were too many threats made in the house, and as they got into a fight that night about him going back to work. I guess he
And
said
his
she didn't
split
like his
shifts, and he wanted to
yes, he's like, she
obviously
didn't
be
like the industry
closer.
I worked in, she didn't like my coworkers, she didn't like my pay, and she threatened to divorce him if he went back to work. Lindsay said 7 days after they moved in, per his instructions, he said he thinks he wants to go back to split shift and they may have to move. I could see why that could piss you off.
That would irritate me. We just moved here now, but yes, okay.
I could see. And Lindsay says, no, she doesn't want to move. And she gave up her place. And basically, that's when he told her, like, yeah, well, if I want you to leave, you're going to leave anyway, because you have no rights to this place. And I'm just like, yo, like, the disrespect in this relationship is like, eesh.
And he says that it makes her feel some type of way because he knows everything she's been through.
Mark says, yeah, that's bullshit, basically. He was like, you lived there rent free. I didn't care if you stayed there another 5 months. You know, he basically said that
he said that the relationship is too threatening for him to be in. And Dr. Viviana asked Lindsay if she feels that she was being a bully. And she says no. Dr. Pepper said that she gets very angry and lashes out as the defense mechanism. And I said, yeah. She lets her know that not only in this relationship, but in life, it is basically doing a disservice to herself, which Lindsay does agree with her. Dr. Pepper says that Mark also has to take accountability, and she wants them to be their better selves. Mark begins to get emotional, and Dr. Cal asks, like, what's going on with you? Why are you, And he says it's just a hard conversation for him to have. Meanwhile, Lindsay is just over here like, well, then cry. It was very kind of heartless. So they asked Lindsay what she thinks of Mark's reaction. And Dr. Viviana immediately, before she even gets a chance to try to talk or get a word out, Dr. Viviana tries to stop her from saying something, which then Lindsay gets upset with Dr. Viviana. And it's like, you've been interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. I understand that you are Team Mark, but you're going to stop interrupting me. That's why I was like, I think Dr. Viviana got herself in some trouble this season. She might have got a little too passionate behind her. But, and because she did say she was here for Lindsay and Mark. So I think she had a personal hand in that. And
what it was Pastor Cal, he asked Lindsay how she feels about Mark's response. Lindsay says, if I'm being honest, and Dr. Viviana and Pastor Cal cut her off and was like, no.
They don't want her to be honest because they know she's going to be an asshole.
Yeah, they were like,
that's why I was saying I relate to
if it's not going to have tact.
That's why I said I can relate to Lindsay, because when I'm hurt, it has no tact. I'm just saying shit to hurt you. I'm not saying it's okay. I need therapy.
You're on TV.
Oh.
I mean, like, it's, you got to fix that. And Lindsay does. Right. She gets upset, Dr. Viviana, for being cut off. She feels like it's one-sided. And basically, she says that she doesn't feel that his response is genuine. And Dr. Viviana says, there we go, one more dig.
Right.
Which is what she basically expected.
And Lindsay looks so unbothered.
Lindsay says that her impression, that's her impression. So when she sees these tears, she doesn't have compassion for him because she doesn't feel like they're sincere. Pastor Cal says that shows that she lost value and respect for him. But one thing you can never lose is empathy. Dr. Viviana says, I hate to say this, but y'all are very similar. And the fact that y'all don't like each other says a lot.
Says a lot about how you
feel about yourself and each other. I said, well,
Take them to church. I love it. Go ahead, Dr. Viviana.
Okay.
Then they bring back the entire cast and they talk about their bond as a cast and how much fun they've had together. They start revisiting the honeymoon and the disagreement between Olajuwon and Lindsay. Now, you may have to do this one. O says that him and Lindsay put together make big flames because they're both balls of fire. And I said, okay, I can see that. He also says that he gets Lindsay. And then Kevin starts to ask him, well, I noticed that y'all became good friends. And he's like, do you feel like you provided a lot of advice to Lindsay and Mark during their breakdown? And he said, absolutely. I was a whole therapist. I was like, look at, he feel like he done grown some. Now he out here trying to be Michael. Go ahead.
It was funny. He didn't know what his wife's name was.
Yes.
In the beginning.
The next scene, Jeanette or Katina, as we know her, it wasn't even close. That's what blew me. But they show clips of
I feel like the second name he said was kind of close. Kind of. I just don't remember what it was.
No, it wasn't even close. It was really bad. So O basically did not know Katina's name for a good minute.
And she was like, oh, that's calling me wife.
Right. Isn't that wife? That's funny. But
that's what you are, girl.
Right. Then they revisit Mark and Lindsay's argument at the bowling alley and how Lindsay popped off and had a lot. I got a lot in capital letters on my notes. Anyway, of shit to say. They show the footage and ask Lindsay, did she feel she went too far? Lindsay, she said she wished her delivery was better. And Kevin asked if she's working on that. And she said, but it wasn't meant for Mark. Like she tries to, and it was like, but Kevin's like, but you said it to production, like you said it to a group of people. You didn't, like it wasn't just like you talking to yourself in the bathroom. So she said that she's working on that. She said she didn't, as I said, didn't mean for him to hear her. And they asked Mark what he thinks. He says he doesn't think she feels bad about what she said. And he looks sad again. They give her an opportunity to apologize, and she hesitates. So this is when Mike says, this is what we said about accountability. She does apologize and basically says that if she hurt his feelings, she says she's sorry for getting angry, but she can't take it back. Like, it's a very bullshit apology. So, but basically it's like, I hope you accept it.
And I think it was Steve that said, Mark, is there anything else you need an apology for?
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, no. And they're like, are you sure? So then Kevin brings up the fact about the spitting.
Because even then, Kevin asked Mark, you sure there's nothing? And he's like, no. Like, he literally is like an abused man. Like, he literally is like, he is scared of Lindsay and her wrath. It's scary. Like, if this, I guess because we're so used to seeing abused women, but literally Mark is an abused man. Like,
from this. Like,
right.
It's bad. I really feel bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kevin brings up to Lindsay about the spitting on his shirt, and of course, Lindsay denies it. And O basically talks her off a cliff and let her know, like,
right now, nobody's
gonna believe you.
Right.
Nobody's gonna believe you, and they're giving you the opportunity to apologize right now. And I feel like you should take it.
Right. So she finally apologizes.
Lindsay says that she apologizes. They got to such a toxic level in their argument, and she apologizes in their argument, and says that, if they were in super close contact in their argument and spit landed on him, she knows that's super disrespectful. So she apologized, I guess, in a roundabout way. She did not accept fault for it, but she still did apologize if it happened in the midst of their argument. But I can't see there being an argument and you getting upset about something accidentally happening, especially if somebody's like talking and like maybe like some tiny little bit of spit flew out your mouth. You know what I mean?
I don't see
like,
you remembering that being implanted.
Exactly. You're going to remember if somebody like hawked up a spit and said to you,
right?
You know what I mean? But whatever, he accepted it. And you know, he did
They're
say,
never, ever getting back together.
He accepted it and he said that is what really hurt him most. Kevin decided to switch to a lighter note and talk about the intimacy exercise and shows clips of the exercise.
Gucci don't fail me now. I gotta turn the snake out.
What?
Nobody else but me and only me. Hey, I'm sorry.
And apparently, Noy and Steve, they had their semi-public moments. Them little motherfuckers are some freaks. With his tall ass and her short little ass.
She's fun size. I'm here for the fun size.
Katina and Elijah, you know, he said that he liked their moment because he felt like it was a buildup for them. And Kevin decides to read some tweets from some fans. They talked to Elijah. Apparently, they noticed that he was wearing these boxes that had this stain on it.
I definitely think I touched on that. And I was like, "Ooh, that's nasty. You on TV. Why you got on these dirty drawers your wedding night?" I thought
what he said was he had a pin in his pocket on his wedding day. And I guess he got so excited to sign the paper. He was marrying his wife. He pulled the pin out and it broke in his pocket. And, you know, ink got on his underwear, which
that's
actually
what
makes
we're
sense.
Going with.
It makes sense. It's on his leg. It's on his leg. So he said that he was like, but, you know, it ended up looking like a shit stain, but really it didn't because it's on his leg. And for Mark, they said that they agree with Lindsay that Mark is full of shit with his whole sex thing, how they had sex and then he wanted to take it slow. And Mark says that he felt like things went fast and he wanted to build things in the relationship. So he thought it was a great idea to be open and honest. And I feel like Kevin got on him a little bit about that too. Like, so, I mean, like after having sex and he was just basically like, I mean, yeah, like that's basically how it happened. So, you know, then they talked about.
No, he said, "I don't want to fuck your crazy ass no more." That's what that was.
And he was withholding the dick. We do know that.
I don't want no more attachment to you than this piece of paper until I figure out whether I actually want to be with you.
It was probably the smartest thing he did.
Right.
You would probably be stuck in that toxic shit right now. Okay.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another review, and we are done. You're not getting no more. We're not doing where I may mention it. We may give you a 10-minute rundown of where they are now. Outside of that, we're done with Boston, y'all. It's cold there, but maybe not now. But we good. We moving on to San Diego. Oh, so that's where we going. We appreciate y'all sticking through Boston with us. We appreciate it. Please make sure that you like,
you comment,
you subscribe,
and hit the notification bell.
And yes, please make sure that you are following us on all platforms. And yeah, outside of that, we may give you weddings, but I'm not doing matchmaking. So we'll catch y'all once we good into the season and we meet our cast and we know who they are. That's when y'all will get a review. So we'll see y'all then. Love y'all. See you in San Diego.
Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Hey.